This is a Fox News alert. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos revealing major developments in the Nancy Guthrie investigation. Chief Correspondent Jonathan Hunt got the exclusive. Jonathan.
Hey, Kaylee. The wide-ranging conversation with Sheriff Nanos didn't yield much good news for the Guthrie family or for the progress of this investigation. For instance, I asked him about this much-vaunted glove that had been found and the DNA testing carried out on it. Here's the sheriff.
The DNA on the glove that was found 2 miles away was submitted for CODIS. And I just heard that CODIS had no hits.
No hits on the DNA found in the glove?
Correct.
So you are no closer to a suspect as a result of the DNA test, at least?
As a result of CODIS.
I also asked the sheriff about comparisons between that DNA found on the glove and DNA found at Nancy Guthrie's home. Here he is again. Is there a match on the DNA in the glove to the DNA, the unknown DNA that you found in the house?
There's no match to the DNA at the house.
So entirely separate DNA?
Correct.
Is there a CODIS match from the DNA in the house?
No.
Now, you've probably also heard the reports that the FBI has been going around gun stores here and may have a list of some 40 people that they're trying to match with gun purchases. Here's the sheriff on that. It was very interesting. Listen. Tell me this if you can, Sheriff. Is everybody in Tucson still a suspect, or have you narrowed it down to, say, a few dozen people? We've heard, for instance, the FBI is asking about 40 people at gun stores.
That's not true.
Okay. So have you narrowed it down to a few dozen, or are we
We haven't narrowed it down to anything other than we have certain pieces of evidence that we're looking at to try to find this individual, whether it be DNA, whether it be that Ring camera video, whether it be evidence at a Walmart that might lead us to somebody.
So my takeaway from the interview overall, Kaylee, it might be harsh to say that this investigation is back at square one, but I think you could certainly count the number of squares they've moved forward in the low single digits. Kaylee?
Yeah, I think that's a fair takeaway. Jonathan, thank you. Well, Donna Rotuno is a criminal defense attorney and host of the Fox News true crime podcast, Crime and Justice, which debuts this week. Donna, thank you for joining me. So let me get this clear. The glove DNA does not match the house DNA. The glove, we don't even know if the glove 2 miles away is connected to this crime at all. And then the DNA on the glove does not match any DNA in CODIS. This does not sound very promising.
No, Kaylee, you're right, and thank you for having me tonight. The bottom line is CODIS is a database that has DNA in it. So what that normally means is they have your DNA either because you've been convicted of a crime or your DNA has been collected for a reason through the FBI. The fact that it's not a hit means that this is not a person that's DNA is in CODIS. It doesn't mean that it at some point won't lead to helping find who this is. So we have to realize what that really means. There's also IgG DNA testing. And what IgG tells us are certain characteristics. It was what helped find Kohberger, certain characteristics of someone, so you can start to narrow down the pool, which is different from the traditional DNA testing that the sheriff was talking about. So although this is a dead end, this still may be a circumstance where they do get some type of information from this DNA, but this is not a dispositive situation here at all tonight. So we really are back to square one here, and we really do not have any idea of who the law enforcement is looking for right now.
And with Kohberger, though it took 47 days to get to his arrest, they had an idea of who he was long before that moment. And to hear Chris Nanos say, we haven't even narrowed this down to a pool of suspects. And then on top of that, he said this to the New York Times, maybe it's an hour from now, maybe it's weeks or months or years from now, but we won't quit. We're going to find Nancy. I mean, if you're a family member, I know they're doing everything in their power, but to hear not a pool of suspects and the word years, that's very frustrating.
Well, the other thing that I thought was strange was there's not a pool of suspects, yet he's saying they're ruling people out. That in itself is a contradiction. So I found that to be strange, but you're right. If you are the family, and remember, this is not a crime that they are trying to solve in the sense that there's a dead body and they need to solve this at some point. There is still a woman missing. There is still someone out there that we do not have any information as to where she is she alive, is she not? And so given that, there is just more urgency here than a situation like Koberger, where you were trying to solve a crime that you already knew took place and what it was. So this is quite different.
So Fox obtained some footage of the back of Nancy's house, and it does not show any sign of forced entry. Now, I want to go back to a press conference that Nanos had. This was about 2 weeks ago. Listen to what he said on that notion of forced entry.
Oh, here's the other thing. Someone had mentioned there was forced entry. I have no clue where that comes from. We have been very consistent. We are not discussing that at all, whether it's forced entry or not forced entry. That is something we're just not discussing. So I don't know where anybody got that information.
I play that because to Jonathan Hunt, he also would not say whether there were signs of struggle. So at this point, I mean, this kidnapper who came forth in the mask with the gloves could have been let in voluntarily for all we know.
Yeah, and why, right? These are questions that are answered in almost every single investigation that we ever hear law enforcement comment on to the media. Why not answer that question? That piece of information does not tip off a suspect in any way, shape, or form. I can understand not answering certain questions. I can understand not putting things out if they are, finding someone and they're on the way to go get them. But this is not a piece of information that's going to affect what happens in this investigation. So I just find that very odd, and I think all of the information and the way it's been disseminated here has been strange.
Well, Donna, congratulations on your podcast. It launches tomorrow. Is that right?
Thank you. Yes.
Well, we can't wait. I'll be checking it out.
Sure
Great.
Does.
Yeah, great.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.